Okay, Math 90, welcome back. This is section 2.6. This section most people do not like, word problems or story problems. And you should have downloaded a worksheet or a handout that I had on D2L that goes with this section. There's three pieces to this in your homework. There's 2.6a, 2.6b, and 2.6c. So they kind of break it up into three parts, which is nice. They try to make it a little bit easier for you. But before I go to the handout, I want to go over some steps on how to do a word problem. So what you want to do first is, and I'm going to write these out for you, you want to read the problem and make sure you understand it. Make sure you understand what all the words mean, and if you want to go back to section 2.2, when we translated those English phrases into math, that would really help, because that's what we're going to be doing here. Remember, quotient is division, product is multiplication. If you're not really sure of what all the words means, by all means, go back to section 2.2 and that'll help you out, just to refresh on that. So read the problem, making sure you understand all the words. That's step number one. Number two, come up with a plan or devise a plan. Sometimes drawing a picture helps. I know it helps me. Like if we're talking about a triangle, you might want to draw a triangle. And label everything. I know that helps me a lot. Like I said before, you can draw a picture or write an equation with a variable. You can use whatever letter you want, X, Y, whatever you'd like to use. So for number two, we devised a plan. For number three, we're going to carry out the plan. And you're going to solve the equation you wrote. Or use your drawing. To help you find an answer. Do whatever helps you, or do whatever is most comfortable for you. 4, look back at your answer and see if it makes sense for the problem. That's big. Look back at your answer and make sure it makes sense. Because if you're talking about the length of something, like the length of a side of a triangle or the length of the side of a rectangle, and you get a negative answer, you know something's wrong. So you'll need to go back and redo the problem, because remember, you can't have a negative length. So 4 is just look back at what you did, look back at your answer, and make sure that it makes sense. So this is just kind of an outline to show you, I don't know, kind of make it easier for you to do these word problems, okay? So I'm going to go to the first word problem on my handout, and this, you're not seeing things, this is blue. Okay, so here is my worksheet that I had on D2L, and I hope you have that in front of you right now, because it'll be very helpful. So let's look at number 1. Okay. 14 more than 3 times a number is equal to 6 decreased by the number. Find the number. Okay, well, I am going to break this down into 2 pieces, and is equal to, that's kind of the middle, right? So here's the first part, 2, and here's the second part. Okay, so is equal to, that splits it in half. Okay, so what would we like to use for a variable? We're looking for a number. Let x equal to the, let x be the number. Sorry about that. We're looking for a number. So I'm going to use x. You can use y, r, q, p, whatever you want. Okay? So let me just down here a little bit more. Okay. So let's translate the first part of the sentence. Let's go back to 2:2 and put this into math. So 14 more than 3 times a number. How would I write that in math? 14 more than, those are keywords, and 3 times the number, and we know the number, we're letting x be the number. So 14 more than. More than is what operation? Add, subtract, divide, multiply. Well, more than means 14 plus. So I'm going to say 14 plus 3 times the number. So 14 plus 3x. That's the first part. 14 more than 3 times the number. And translate the second part, 6 decreased by. 6 decreased by the number. So 6 decreased by the number. Decreased by means to do what? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide. 6 decreased by is 6 minus the number, and I said x is the number. So 6 decreased by x. Can I put all these together and write the equation? I sure can. So I'm going to put 14 plus 3x equal to 6 minus x. And this is minus 1x. If you need to put a 1 in front, you can. Okay. I'm not giving really enough room to solve that there, so I'm going to get another piece of paper and solve it on some Scratch. So if you're okay with the setup, I'm going to rewrite this and we're going to solve it. Okay. And if you don't need that one, don't put it in. If you're fine with the minus x, leave it as minus x. Okay, so following our solving rules and steps that we used before, Let's say we could start with the 14 or the 6. I always like to start with the numbers. I am going to subtract 6 from both sides. Okay, so these go. And what's 14 minus 6? That's 8. I'm going to bring down the plus 3x. And again, you can say negative x or negative 1x, whatever, however you want. Okay, so I've done my numbers. Now I have to do my variables. So I need my variables all on this right-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay, so these 3x's go. I'm left with 8. And negative 1x and a negative 3x, they're both negative, so we're going to add them together and get a negative 4x. Okay, what's the last step? Step number 4, we divide both sides, and what are we going to divide both sides by? Negative 4. Negative 4's cancel. What's 8 divided by negative 4? It's negative 2. So my answer is negative 2. Does that seem reasonable? Does it say it cannot be a negative? It just says find the number, so it could be a negative or a positive number, so it seems pretty reasonable to me. If you check it, it should work. 14, I'm going to do a check. 14 plus 3 times negative 2, does that get me to 6 minus 1 times negative 2? Okay, I'm just checking. So, let's see, what's 3 times negative 2? 14 minus 6 on this side. 6 minus 1 times negative 2 following PEMDAS. I'm going to do minus 1 times minus 2, which is a positive 2. So this is 8 on this side and 8 on this side. So it does check. So my answer to that word problem is negative 2. I'm going to stop there, and I will see you on the next video.